Hi everyone, today I thought that I would share some of my findings with regards to stevia with you all. And if you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on this channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button so you will get notified whenever I'm posting a new video. And give the video a thumbs up and then share it with everyone you know and have them watch every single video on my channel. They will be much more knowledgeable and hopefully inspired to do something about their own health, and maybe they will quit sugar, which most of us don't, but everyone wants to pretty much. So also ask me questions, tell me what sort of contents you would like to see on the channel, and I will try to make more of that sort of content. As long as it's something that I'm interested in, which is nutrition and cravings management and pretty much life coaching in general. So let's dive straight into the experiment that I did. So sweeteners are quite a controversial topic. Some people seem to not react to sweeteners at all, whereas others do. And stevia isn't supposed to be insulinogenic, which means it's not supposed to stimulate an insulin release, and it's definitely not meant to increase your blood glucose. So with that in mind, nosy as I am, I obviously wanted to check this out myself. I cannot measure my insulin at home, but if my blood glucose goes down, I pretty much know that I've had an insulin release. So let's just have a look. If you have watched my other videos released recently with regards to my blood glucose testing routine, you will know that I'm testing before eating, 15 minutes after, 30 minutes after, 60 minutes after, and potentially as well as 90 minutes after. So my fasted blood glucose after an 18-hour fast was 4.2 the day before. And this is the day after, the day that I ate cream only for my "Is it safe to eat cream on keto or carnivore diet" video. So I made sure that I had the same length of time in between. So here we go, that's 4.2. So I wanted the conditions to be as similar as possible. So that's why I left it to 18 hours today as well. And this is the cream that I whipped up yesterday. I was lucky that there was exactly 75 grams left in there. Saved me whipping up some more. We want to add some stevia, and I have a packet of stevia here. What it says on this is that 1 pinch of stevia, 0.1 gram or 1 millimeter, the tip of the end of a teaspoon, is equivalent to 1 teaspoon of sugar. So this is pretty much what I'm going to do. Might be a little bit more, I'm unsure, but I'm rather doing a little bit more than too little. So that's how much stevia I'm adding. I'm gonna add that to that amount of cream, the same amount I had yesterday, but obviously now with stevia, and this is going to be very, very sweet, I imagine. So I'm just mixing this and then I'm gonna eat that. And yesterday I ate my cream over 7 minutes because I couldn't really stomach it. It was a bit, I'm not a huge fan of cream, so it was a little bit hard for me to eat at least the last third. I was really struggling with it. I started to almost feel sick. So I imagine that this is going to be easier and taste much nicer. So I'm going to just take my time with it. I'm actually going to time myself 7 minutes. And then I will be back for another blood test. So this is then 15 minutes after having eaten the cream with the stevia, and the day before, what happened was when I did have cream only, my blood glucose went up from 4.1 to 4.5 after 15 minutes. And here it has gone down from 4.2 to 4.0. So what this is telling me is that I'm definitely getting an insulin response to stevia. And after 30 minutes, I was quite interested to see if it had gone down even more or if it had turned around again. And it turns out that it has actually gone up a little bit to 4.4. So I'm now 0.2 units above my starting point. And after 60 minutes, yesterday it was still rising. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to test the 90 minutes, so I was really curious to see if it was going to keep rising today as well. But it looks like it has actually stabilized around 4.4, which is perfectly normal and actually quite good. So what this tells me is that stevia certainly has an insulinogenic effect on me, probably down to the sweet taste of stevia. When I'm tasting sweet, my body will react by creating or releasing insulin so that we can store the glucose that we anticipate will be coming our way. And I suspect that this is the case for many people, not everyone, but a lot of people. And without testing, you won't ever know. So as you can see in the table here, it starts with going down slightly and then it actually goes up again slightly. So this is quite interesting. If you don't know what you're looking for, you might be a little bit confused, like what's going on. So it starts at 4.2, it goes down to 4.0, and then it goes up again to 4.4 after 30 minutes, and then it remains there. So I know that I had an insulin response because that is storing the glucose that I have in my blood. That's why it's going down. But we have a mechanism in our body. So the antagonist to insulin is glucagon, and we will start producing that to prevent our blood sugar from dropping too low. And that's why it's going up again, most likely. And you can also compare this with what happened the day before. So if you have a look at this table here, the bottom table is from when I had the same amount of cream. Both days I was fasted for 18 hours and I tested after 15, 30 and 60 minutes. And you can see that as a baseline I had 4.1 before eating any cream, and then it raised right up to 4.5 after 15 minutes, and then after 30 minutes it was quite a large jump, and then after 60 minutes it was still going up. And that was a surprise to me that I got such a large response from it, but clearly that's what is happening. So I don't get an insulin response clearly from just eating cream without the sweet taste. So the only difference here is the little bit of stevia that you saw that I put in. That's the only difference. Otherwise, I was fasted for 18 hours. I ate the cream over 7 minutes and I was testing on regular intervals. So that's the only difference. That obviously there could be other differences like my sleep quality and things like that, but you wouldn't see a difference this big from just that in the same individual. So is this a problem? That's kind of hard to answer. For those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I'm pretty much against sweeteners of all kind, especially the artificial ones, but even so, even the stevia and other natural ones can be problematic for different reasons. And I don't do them very often anymore, I say. So I used to have stevia on a daily basis because I used to drink egg coffee and I need that to be sweet. Otherwise I don't like it. I don't like coffee on its own. So I'm against sweeteners because the effect that they can have on our health, especially the artificial ones, and also on our microbiome, which can be affected by some sweeteners, not necessarily all of them. And from a sugar addict perspective, I think it's really, really bad form eating a lot of sweeteners, because what we do is that we just keep reinforcing the behavior of responding to our cravings with something sweet. So whereas we don't get the actual sugar into our bodies, which is good, we're still reinforcing that behavior. So we're never getting rid of it and we will always want to keep doing it. And it's like Band-Aid. It's not helping you getting over your sugar addiction. It's not helping you getting over any sort of addiction at all. You just keep doing the same thing but with a different compound. So that's what many people do when they stop smoking. They start eating sugar instead, or they stop drinking, they start smoking, etc. So you're just swapping something for something else. So I'm very much against sweeteners of all kinds for this reason, but if you want to treat every now and then in the blue moon, whatever, then fine, it's probably a lot better than having sugar. And if it's just a tiny bit, it's probably also okay-ish if you're not doing it on a daily basis. So if I was just looking at the actual numbers, I would say that it might not be a problem. It looks okay. It does, the blood glucose doesn't fluctuate that much. It's plus minus 0.2 units, and it's not a lot. I can say though that I was hungrier on this day than I was the day before, but I was hungrier before I ate the cream with the stevia as well. I was actually starving, which I wasn't the day before. So if it's down to the stevia, I wouldn't dare say that it is. I don't have any evidence for that. I just know that I was hungrier this day than I was the previous day. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe I just didn't eat enough the day before, because honestly, all I ate was the steak that I showed in my last live stream, or where the red meat is insulinogenic, and 75 grams of cream. So that is not a lot of food. So my body was probably hungry because it wanted more food. But what I do know that I can share with you is that I used to drink egg coffee or Bulletproof coffee every morning because I found that a really good breakfast, if you like. It just kept me full and I didn't have to eat anything in the morning. Now I don't eat anything in the morning anyway. I don't care about that so much. And if I was doing a longer fast and I was doing that with coffee, then it would be Bulletproof coffee. So that would be coffee with butter and either MCT or coconut oil, whatever I had, and stevia. If I'm doing a fast, drinking that in the morning and then not eating anything in the evening, I would keep being really, really hungry for a very long period of time. Whereas if I'm doing a proper water fast, I'm obviously hungry, but not to the same degree. Whether that is stevia or if it's the coffee, I don't know. I'm almost inclined to guess the coffee because it stimulates the adrenals, etc. And I think it might affect me more, but I don't actually know. All I can tell you is that I'm less hungry if I'm not doing Bulletproof coffee in the morning and I'm doing a fast. So whether this is problematic for me or not, I don't know, but it definitely messes with my insulin response. I can tell you that much, and as such, it might not be ideal. Maybe it's better to just let my body do what it's doing. Clearly, it keeps my blood glucose down slightly compared to if I was going to eat unsweetened cream. Now, I personally wouldn't do that because I don't even like it. It was a struggle to do it, but maybe that is a good thing. So we have to kind of judge why we're eating it and for what purpose, etc. I know a lot of people have told me that they get headaches or don't feel well at all after eating stevia. I have never experienced any such thing myself. I've always just consumed pure stevia, like 98% stevia extract or something similar like that, sometimes 96, and there has never ever been a problem for me. But we're all different, we're all reacting differently to different compounds, and after all, it's an alkaloid, it comes from a plant. Some people are really sensitive to that. So it depends on how you actually respond to it yourself. So would I recommend that you eat stevia? No, I probably wouldn't. If it's every now and then, as I said, not a big deal, probably not a problem, probably better than having a sugar fiesta, but in general, just stick with the unprocessed foods. You're gonna feel so much better from doing that. If you have type 2 diabetes, for example, and you're insulin resistant, you may get a completely different response from eating stevia. So I would be interested in if anyone has done this yourself, if any type 2 diabetics are watching this. you could potentially get a huge insulin response from eating a little bit of stevia because you're overcompensating because you are insulin resistant, and then that could potentially lead to a large sudden drop in your blood glucose because you have so much insulin present. And if it's way over the top too much, you might be able to actually shuffle a lot of the blood glucose in pretty quickly, and your glucagon response might not have time to pick up on that, and you might get slightly low blood sugar for a while. And that can make you really, really hungry and grumpy and hangry and all of that. So that is a possibility. So if we have any diabetics who have any experience with this, please let me know in the comments, because that would be super cool to know. So is it a good sugar alternative for diabetics? I would say it's probably better than normal sugar, but we don't want to go overboard with the dosage. As with anything sweet, just like if you need to do it, just do a tiny bit. You saw how much I used and the response I got. If you're diabetic, just, check the response, see what is happening. It's very good information for you to have so that you can manage your diabetes and hopefully reverse it as well. So my absolutely best advice for you would be to not consume any sweeteners whatsoever of any kind ever. That's the ideal. None of us are eating according to the ideal, I don't think. So just do whatever you can do and keep the intake as low as possible. And avoid eating anything processed, whether that be carbs or sweeteners or, even processed proteins. It's not ideal, really. I'm talking about whey protein and things like that. It's not. Why not just have a steak or some eggs? Eggs are quite cheap. So, you know what? Just stick to the normal natural food sources and you will be fine. You really, really can't go wrong with that unless you're super sensitive and you only buy factory farm grain-fed meat. Then you probably won't feel great over time. But there are ways of getting around that as well with the fat quality, etc. So yeah, I'm not going to ramble on today. I just want to keep it semi-short, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye!